Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson meet for the third time. These men are unique, becoming classic rivals. These two men, fierce, powerful fighters, dangerous, so much so that no other fighter will go near them. And so, they fight each other, 3 weeks apart. They've each won one, and they'll probably fight again, the way it looks now. They go to close quarters at the bell.
Robert De Niro's legacy is one of a genre-defining actor. He's one of the greatest actors of his generation.
I gotta get in shape now. Too much sitting has ruined my body. Too much abuse has gone on for too long. From now on, it'll be 50 push-ups each morning, 50 pull-ups. There will be no more pills. There will be no more bad food, no more destroyers of my body. From now on, it'll be total organization. Every muscle must be tight.
From the beginning of the 70s onwards, you know, with Scorsese as his coach and his companion, you know, he transformed the landscape of acting. He took the concept of method to unexplored terrain and did extraordinary things.
Benedetto, come ti chiami?
Mi chiamo Vito Corleone.
Vito Corleone. Ti pigliaste un nome di sto paese, eh? E sto paese come si chiama?
Io si chiama Antonio Mandolini.
He is the natural heir to Marlon Brando. And what he has done, he has taken everything that Brando did and it's taken it into the next dimension.
You see me doing thrill-seeker liquor store holdups with a Born to Lose tattoo on my chest?
No, I do not.
Right. I am never going back.
Then don't take down scores.
I do what I do best. I take scores. You do what you do best, trying to stop guys like me.
A great screen actor, without question, and one who, the moment he comes on screen, you can't really look away.
So will you please give your warmest greetings to the newest king of comedy, Rupert Pupkin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rupert Pupkin. I was born in Clifton, New Jersey, which was not at that time a federal offense.
He's got the technique, but he's also got the charisma, which is an unusual blend in someone who is essentially a character actor, but has become a movie star.
Summer's gone, and all the roses die. It's you, it's you.
It's getting near dawn when lights close a tired eye.
Robert De Niro was born in 1943 in New York City to a family of painters.
A man who will be forever synonymous with the city of New York, and in many ways, New York filled him and made him who he was. His father was Robert Anthony De Niro Sr. His mother was Virginia Admiral.
Both his parents were artists, and quite distinguished ones at that. They both were exhibited by Peggy Guggenheim, so they moved within fairly high-profile artistic circles. His parents divorced when he was 2. He was an only child. And although they'd separated, his father actually didn't move very far away. In fact, as he got older, they used to go to the cinema together, which is where Robert De Niro obviously started to engage with movies. It is very interesting that one of his great screen heroines was Greta Garbo. He loved the films of Garbo, which for somebody at that stage and that youth is fascinating because it shows that he's looking at something that is well beyond his age range, and he's looking at elements of acting and performance that are no longer fashionable, but in fact speak to him.
At the age of 16, despite, having this good education, despite being clearly a bright lad, he decided to leave his education, leave schooling, to become an actor. This had been driven by partly his growing affection of cinema, so instilled in by his father, and also by the intense shyness he'd had as a young boy. And in some ways, acting, which he began to do at school, was an escape. It was a chance to become someone you weren't. And I think he found it like a release, a psychological release.
He set about learning how to act with acting classes at the Berghof Studio, the Stella Adler Conservatory, before finally arriving at the Lee Strasberg Studio, which is a method acting school. And he learned the art of method acting with a passion and a fervour. He would take the tenets of method acting to possibly more extreme levels than any other Hollywood actor has ever done. So the things that he learned with Lee Strasberg shaped the rest of his life.
De Niro's film career started when he was cast in the early features of Brian De Palma, including The Wedding Party and Greetings. But his big break came when he began a long-running collaboration with director Martin Scorsese on 1973's Mean Streets.
Got a new time, got to show you. I like to show you. It's a nice time, but
Hey, Michael doesn't care if you're depressed. What is he, your priest? What do you come out going shopping when you owe somebody money, Johnny? That ain't right. What are you talking? How much you got there? Charlie, I'm gonna pay him next week. I'm gonna pay you. You're going. You don't do nothing. How much you got there?
I got enough $40. What are you doing? I got about $40, that's all. What? What are you doing?
Now, for lying, I'm holding on to this until next week till you make the next payment.
Scorsese wanted to make a film about his own life, about being a Catholic boy, about having to grow up, about falling in love with someone he's forbidden to fall in love with, all of this. And out of that comes Mean Streets. It's a real breakthrough because it's in many ways a kind of American version of the New Wave, kind of American version of European cinema. Everybody who was in that picture got seen. Everybody in that picture got respected. Scorsese was on the map. But De Niro is very interesting because he's the juxtaposition of Harvey Keitel's sort of calm, going through his journey, and De Niro's character is off the wall, bouncing around, hat off his head, crazy guy. And so convincing that people begin to think that's where he came from. Oh, no. He studied that.
In the same year as Mean Streets, De Niro also gained critical praise playing a baseball player in the popular drama Bang the Drum Slowly. Following year, De Niro then appeared as a young Vito Corleone in Francis Ford Coppola's sequel to The Godfather.
Lasciati fare a me. I take everything. Io ho risetto tutte cose. E ho menzogne non ne dico mai alla amici miei. I riuscire umani voiamoci a parlare con Fannucci. I trovava domanare I soldi. E facilmente capire che voiamoci avete intenzione di pagare tutto quello che va domani, e senza discutere. E poi ci vado io. E mi ci arrivo io qui. Non c'è bisogno che fate incazzare che io sai se è così malandrino come recite voiamoci, no?
Ma come fai tu a farci picchiare di meno?
A voiamoci non mi interessa. Ma solo ricordatevi che vi feci un piacere. Siamo d'accordo?
Sì.
Saluto.
Salute.
De Niro's reputation soared. And it's then that Coppola, came in, and he'd seen him performances in both Bang the Drum Slowly and in Mean Streets. And being your close friend and associate of Scorsese, he must have seen early footage, from raw stuff from the streets. And he must have been talking to Scorsese and, saying, Scorsese going, look at this guy's astonishing. So he was a known quantity, for Coppola. But he brought him in to play the young Vito Corleone in The Godfather Part 2. Which actually, interestingly, is a very, very different performance from what had gone on in Mean Streets. So it's very, again, you look at how good those directors' thinking was in terms of what they could see in De Niro. Because Coppola wanted the opposite. I want to contain you. I want something measured. I want something period. I want a certain elegance alongside the violence. Johnny Boy was a boy of the streets. Vito, while working class, is a man who's going to become the godfather. He's going to become the head of a family, and we must understand that. And because we'd already seen The Godfather, so what we had to see in De Niro's performance was Brando to come.
De Niro won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his performance in The Godfather Part 2. He then reunited with Martin Scorsese for 1976's Taxi Driver.
So what do you do now?
Ride around nights mostly, subways, buses. Figure, I'm gonna do that, I might as well get paid for it.
Want to work uptown nights, South Bronx, Harlem?
I work anytime, anywhere.
Will you work Jewish holidays?
Anytime, anywhere.
All right, let me see your chauffeur's license. How's your driving record?
It's clean. It's real clean, like my conscience.
Are you gonna break my chops? No trouble with guys like you coming in and break my chops all the time. If you're gonna break my chops, you can take it on the arches right now, you understand?
Sorry, sir, I didn't mean that.
Taxi Driver was another extraordinary film from Martin Scorsese, and Robert De Niro's performance as Travis Bickle. He has to play someone who is half a villain, half a hero in the film. So he has to be tender at times and loving almost. And at other times he's got to be really vicious, which he manages somehow to do. So it was a brilliant performance by De Niro. And everybody knew at that time that he was really just about the best actor, apart from Jack Nicholson in Hollywood at the time. So his career had started amazingly well, with 3 or 4 performances which are unforgettable.
I'm working long hours now. 6 in the afternoon to 6 in the morning, sometimes even 8 in the morning. 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. It's a long hustle, but it keeps me real busy. I can take in 350.
In 1976, Robert De Niro worked with director Elia Kazan on The Last Tycoon.
Well, this is it. I don't know why I'm building it. Maybe it's for you.
Well, I think it's great of you to build a big house for me without even knowing what I look like.
I didn't know what kind of a roof you wanted.
I don't need a roof. What's that for?
The projector.
The what?
The movie projector.
The Last Tycoon saw possibly the ultimate method actor, Robert De Niro, act for possibly the ultimate method director, Elia Kazan. It's a F. Scott Fitzgerald novel based on Fitzgerald's time in Hollywood, and it's about a very driven, creative, very young movie producer who's Robert De Niro. It's a very kind of intense performance, but without the madness of Taxi Driver. And Elia Kazan loved working with Robert De Niro. It's a very, very good, well put together piece, and Robert De Niro is excellent in it, but it didn't achieve the attention I think it deserved.
Following The Last Tycoon, De Niro then returned for another Martin Scorsese film with the musical drama New York, New York. But the picture was a surprise box office disappointment. However, De Niro was soon back in another critical and commercial hit with Michael Cimino's The Deer Hunter.
3. 3. Don't worry. Next, we're going to be out of here. Out of here. Now we got ourselves a game. You and me. Now we got ourselves a real game.
The Deer Hunter is Michael Cimino's just wonderful story about three friends, steel workers in Pennsylvania, who are all drafted into Vietnam and what happens to them. This is one of those films that is a sort of landmark movie, I think. It made the names of pretty well everyone in it. De Niro was already a name, but Christopher Walken was up and coming, Meryl Streep. It was tragically John Cazale's last film. He was dying of cancer. And it's a measure of De Niro's support and fellow feeling for his actors that when the producers refused to insure John Cazale because they knew he was ill, that De Niro stepped in and actually paid for the insurance.
In 1980, Robert De Niro played the boxer Jake LaMotta in Martin Scorsese's Raging Bull.
Let's go get a knockout, and that's where it's at. Come on, get to the final round. Good luck, people.
LaMotta fighting out of a half crowd. Reeves is up against a tough fighter, a man who doesn't know how to back up. LaMotta continues to bore in. LaMotta out of the bottom, to the jaw, and Reeves is down. The crowd is urging Jake on.
Raging Bull is the kind of apotheosis of that 70s era. Although it came in, early 1980, it's the capstone on the great 70s relationship with Scorsese. In some ways, it's, this tower that they were building throughout 70s Hollywood. It's kind of the last bit in the top. But it began with De Niro. He wanted to make this story of Jake LaMotta, this kind of Italian boxer who rises to become almost an artist of the ring and then descends into a personal nightmare of a kind of, physical and mental degradation that kind of occurs with this character. So it's an astonishing journey of highs and lows, and he spent time with the real guy. He got to know him, he got to know his family, he got to understand that environment around which the character came from, and just puts up on the screen the Raging Bull, this sort of incredible depiction of American manhood in two different shades and the journey that you can go on between them. And the film, is heralded as a great, rightly, and De Niro was given the Best Actor Oscar because by this time it was impossible not to, because he'd done something no one ever had done before.
I remember those cheers. They still ring in my ears, and for years they remain in my thoughts. Because one night, I took off my robe, and what I do? I forgot to wear shorts. I recall every fall, every hook, every jab. The worst way a guy can get rid of his flab. As you know, my life wasn't drab. Though I'd rather hear you cheer when I delve into Shakespeare. A horse, my kingdom for a horse. I haven't had a winner in 6 months. And though I'm no Olivier, I would much rather. And though I'm no Olivier, if before Sugar Ray, he would say that the thing ain't the ring, it's the play. So give me a stage where this bull here can rage, and though I can fight, I'd much rather recite. That's entertainment.
De Niro continued to work with Scorsese in 1982's The King of Comedy, where he played opposite Jerry Lewis.
Jerry, I'm sorry. I don't mean to disturb you. I don't want to take up any of your time. I just want to talk to you for a minute. I just need your advice.
Hey, this is not the time.
If we could just drive away, you can drop me off anywhere. If I could just talk to you, I would drive. I'm serious.
Drive away? No, I have a very strict rule about people getting in the car.
I hate to this up, Mr. Langford. I don't mean to be rude, but I did put myself on the line for you.
Go ahead, Harvey. Hit it.
1982 is the King of Comedy, with Robert De Niro playing opposite the real King of Comedy, Jerry Lewis. And De Niro plays a guy called Rupert Pupkin, who is a stalker and maniac at just the whole thing of this comedian. De Niro said at the time, when people saw this film, were horrified by it, De Niro said, "You're not ready for this. This is what's coming." And of course, we do live in the age now that this film predicts.
As well as working with stand-up comedians, Robert De Niro tried to stalk his own stalkers to understand what it was that stalkers saw in the object of their affection. And there was one in particular who'd been a very, very persistent obsessive. And Robert De Niro said, well, let's go and have dinner in New York. And the guy came with his wife, and his wife was very nervous. She thought the whole thing was weird. And they had dinner together, and Robert De Niro said, what do you know, why do you want all this? What do you want from me? And the guy said, I don't know, I just want to have dinner with you, have a joke, tell you my mum says hi. And that's really what he brings into Pupkin in a way, is that sort of the banality of the obsession in a way.
The fact is, I'm here. Now, tomorrow you'll know that I wasn't kidding and you'll think I was crazy. But look, I figure it this way. Better to be king for a night than schmuck for a lifetime.
In 1984, Robert De Niro starred in director Sergio Leone's final film, Once Upon a Time in America.
How's your sister?
Ain't seen her for years. She's a big star now.
We should have known, huh? You can always tell the winners at the starting gate. You can always tell the winners, and you can tell the losers. Who would have put a penny on you?
I put everything I ever had on you.
Yeah, you would have lost.
Once Upon a Time in America was Sergio Leone's great gangster epic, which he'd been planning for years, basically. It's a sort of conclusion to this whole swathe of films he'd been making about America, but mostly through Westerns, and he just wanted to bring it up to date. It was a dream film. It deals with Jewish gangsters, actually, not Italian gangsters in this case. And Robert De Niro plays Noodles, and it takes him from this small gang that he has as street kids, and how they fall into sort of petty crime and what happens to them as they grow up. But it's all told from the present day.
I love this picture. It feels like 3,000 hours long. It's only 4. It's gotten a great sort of understanding now as the years go by. Of course, people didn't understand until after Sergio Leone was dead. Nevertheless, it is an amazing piece of work. Only an Italian could make this. It's like an opera. It's like a huge opera buffa and all of these things that are going around. I can still see, as I'm talking about it, I can still see bits of it. That's how visual this thing is. It's a great piece of work. De Niro completely defends it, which he should, but it's just an amazing piece of work.
Following Once Upon a Time in America, Robert De Niro then starred in Terry Gilliam's Brazil.
What are you doing?
Harry Tuttle, heating engineer at your service.
Tuttle? Are you from Central Services? I called Central Services.
Well, they're a little overworked these days. Luckily, I intercepted your call.
What was that business with the gun?
Just a precaution, sir. Just a precaution. I've had traps set for me before now. And there are plenty of people in Central Services who'd love to get their hands on Harry Tuttle.
Are you telling me that this is illegal?
De Niro went into Terry Gilliam's Brazil, a dystopian science fiction film with Jonathan Pryce at the center.
When Robert De Niro finally enters, he's been so heralded. A large part of the film leading up to that has been talking about this guy Tuttle, that when he finally enters out of a sort of a grating, it's amazing. It's a great entrance because he switches what you expect, and he switches what you expect from De Niro. He's nothing like any of his previous roles. So it's a great film, and it's a good performance.
After Brazil, De Niro starred opposite Jeremy Irons in the 18th century Jesuit drama The Mission.
You left.
I didn't know it.
Most certainly you left.
Rodrigo, please.
Whom you left?
Rodrigo, don't do
And
this.
whom you left?
Rodrigo!
Forward, three!
The Mission, Roland Joffe's film about Jesuit missionaries in South America, was an extraordinarily difficult film to make. Robert De Niro plays a mercenary who gets involved in a fight to begin with, and he kills somebody. And in order to sort of seek redemption, he actually has to go on this sort of quest to become a Jesuit, a missionary. He goes through a series of terrible, terrible trials in the jungles. It's a brutal film, and it was a brutal film to make, brutalizing, because as they were shooting in real conditions, on location. De Niro impressed everybody, though, including producer David Barton, who just said, here's a man who just, once he's committed to a role, there's nothing that will distract him from it, at all.
In 1987, Robert De Niro took on the role of the world's most infamous real-life gangster, Al Capone, in Brian De Palma's The Untouchables.
An article which I believe appeared in a newspaper asked why, since you are, or it would seem that you are in effect the mayor of Chicago, you've not simply been appointed to that position.
Well, I'll tell you, it's touching. Like a lot of things in life, we laugh because it's funny and we laugh because it's true. Some people say, reformers here say, put that man in jail. What does he think he is doing? What I hope I'm doing, and here's where your English paper's got a point, is I'm responding to the will of the people. People are gonna drink. You know that, I know that, we all know that, and all I do is act on that. And all this talk of bootlegging, what is bootlegging? On the boat, it's bootlegging. On Lakeshore Drive, it's hospitality. I'm a businessman.
The Untouchables, of course, was Brian De Palma, who'd worked with De Niro before, and it was going to be this great, flamboyant gangster movie. It was going to be nothing like the gangster movies that De Niro had made. This was going to be almost comic book in its style. Told this extraordinary story of the good guys, this task force put together by Elliot Ness, trying to bring down Capone in Prohibition Chicago. Shot with all the kind of virtuoso framing that De Niro can bring, the camera just soars heavenwards. Everything's got wonderful shapes, circles and squares. It does look like a kind of comic book. But of course, the key to it all, almost like a Bond film, is who plays your villain? Who is Capone? Who is big enough to fill the role of Al Capone, And De Palma wanted De Niro. He knew that's where you'd get it. You can see how much enjoyment De Niro's having. He's just cutting loose. He's got the tone of the film. He knows it's over the top. He knows it's comic book. But he's never less than a character, never less than a person.
Having performed in a long line of serious dramas, Robert De Niro decided to take on an action comedy with 1988's Midnight Run.
What's the point?
The point, Jack? I bailed out the accountant. See, I didn't know who he was at the time. Had I known, there was no way I would have put up the bond. It's only a matter of time before Serrano vanishes this guy from the planet, and I'm out $450,000.
You're out $450,000 on this guy?
No.
No.
No. because I got you, and you're the best, and you're gonna find him and bring him back.
Yeah, right. How do you even know this guy is still alive?
Because this guy is crazy. He sends postcards to Serrano. He's telling him what a great time he's having with his money.
How much time you got left?
Friday midnight, I default. I eat the full 50.
This Friday? That's 5 days. Forget it. You go find him. Give
Jack,
me my money.
All right, look, listen to me. I'll give you 50 grand.
50 grand. I gotta chase you down for 1,200. Forget about it.
No, Jack, please,
Jack, nothing. Forget about it. What else you got?
God, I ain't got nothing. This is it. If you don't find this guy, I'm out of business.
I'll say it right now, Midnight Run is one of the funniest films ever made. The fact is that you have Robert De Niro playing a very authentic bounty hunter. We know it's authentic because actually he hung out with bounty hunters for a while to research this. He actually went on sort of repos and things like that. But then he's up against Charles Grodin, who's one of the great underrated screen comic actors, I should say. It is a chase film. It is a film about two men from completely different backgrounds, somehow managing to forge a bond en route. It's got a humanity threaded through it, which is quite surprising given the subject matter.
After Midnight Run, De Niro was soon back with Martin Scorsese, this time with the mafia drama Goodfellas.
Jimmy, I'd like you to meet the kid Henry. How you doing? Pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Keep coming.
See, Jimmy was one of the most feared guys in the city. I mean, he was first locked up at 11, and he was doing hits for mob bosses when he was 16. See, hits never bothered Jimmy. It was business. But what Jimmy really loved to do, was steal. I mean, he actually enjoyed it. Jimmy was the kind of guy who rooted for the bad guys in the movies.
Give me a wallet. You might know who we are, but we know who you are. You understand?
You know, he was one of the city's biggest hijackers. Booze, cigarettes, razor blades, shrimp and lobsters. Shrimp and lobsters were best. They went really fast.
Thanks.
And almost all of them were gimmies. I mean, they just gave it up, no problem. They called him Jimmy the Gent.
Tommy, help the lady.
Drivers loved them. They used to tip him off about their really good loads. And of course, everybody got a piece.
He plays with Ray Liotta and Joe Pesci in Scorsese's next film, which was Goodfellas. That, I think, is one of the most frightening gangster films I've ever seen. And certainly De Niro is extraordinary in it. He seems subsumed once again into the part he plays. And he's a real evil guy. And there's no doubt about it that the film is probably pretty accurate to what happened at the time in the New York gangster scene. But it's never been shown on the screen with such violence and such realism before. And Robert De Niro in the film is marvelous.
Here's your graduation present. Listen, what for? I got pinched. Everybody gets pinched, but you did it right. You told them nothing, and they got nothing. I thought you'd be mad. Man, I'm not mad. I'm proud of you. You took your first pinch like a man, and you learned the two greatest things in life. What? Look at me. Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut.
De Niro would work with Scorsese again the following year in a remake of Cape Fear. Then, in 1993, De Niro took up the director's chair himself for A Bronx Tale.
I never, ever let you go. All right, see you later, Pop. Okay.
Right upstairs, son.
Okay, Pop.
That's my mom, Rosina. She met my dad at a dance. They fell in love, and they've been together ever since.
Bronx Tale is Robert De Niro's directorial debut. And he wanted to direct this when he saw it as a one-man play. And it is the story of a man who doesn't want his son to fall in with the mob and who does everything he can to try to keep him out. And Robert De Niro plays this father, the father who knows what the score is, he knows what the mean streets are, and his son is attracted by it, and it's how he manages to wrestle him away. It's very realistic, but also very gentle. So it's not got the Scorsese violence of the crime world. Robert De Niro has a very delicate touch with his directing. It's a lovely piece of work. I mean, For a first directorial debut, it's astonishingly well held together, and the plot is ideal for him.
Daddy, why did you say I did a good thing for a bad man?
Because sometimes in life you gotta do certain things that you gotta do even though they're not right. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, it's just that I thought I did the right thing. And now I'm not sure I did.
You did do the right thing, and when you get older, you'll understand why. Your mother and I love you very, very much. Tomorrow you take a ride on a bus with me, okay?
City Island was the last stop on my father's route. It was one of our favorite places. It was like going on a vacation for a day. My dad would listen to his jazz and we would talk about baseball.
In 1994, De Niro took on the role of the creature in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Get up. Get up.
You do speak.
Yes, I speak. And read. And think. And know the ways of man.
How did you find me?
Your journal.
Kenneth Branagh cast Robert De Niro as the creature in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. He made a good decision there because De Niro brought something to the creature that was, yes, monstrous, but not inhuman. And that's what you need to get that balance right and to get the sense of empathy that you have with something that has been created and sewn together. There's a reality about it that comes from his study of stroke victims, comes from his study of people with disabilities in order to be able to somehow authenticate and bring a reality to a completely fantastic creation.
Following Frankenstein, De Niro worked with Martin Scorsese once more on Casino.
I got a feeling about the future, and it ain't too good, I know that.
I saw that the dealer was weak, but he wasn't in on it. He just wasn't protecting his hand. He was lifting his whole card way too high. Now here's this guy reading the dealer's whole card and signaling his buddy at this table.
Can't cross my trail, I said so one time before. Ain't superstitious.
And that's just what these hustlers look for. They cruise from casino to casino looking for weak dealers the way lions look for weak antelope.
Got me so far, and you know I ain't gonna let it stop me now.
Operator, this is Mr. Rock. Get me Armstrong and Friday over at Pit 2 right away.
Casino is a Martin Scorsese gangster movie, and so where else would he turn but Robert De Niro? It's set in Vegas. Robert De Niro is a mob fixer who goes to look after a particular operation in Vegas with his very erratic wife, played by Sharon Stone. And the story is really about how he deals with what's going on in Vegas at the time, how his wife is a liability, how people come after him. But it's also about how Vegas is changing and how it's becoming more and more corporate and family friendly, and how De Niro is, if you like, he's part of the past.
It has a great sense of time and place. And again, Robert De Niro proved that he could play that sort of part better than anybody else. And also, he varied his parts as gangster. He wasn't the same old gangster we've seen before. He varied his parts very subtly. And so, in this case, he has a tender side to him, which he's able to exploit very well in the film.
In the same year as Casino, Robert De Niro also starred as a professional bank robber in Michael Mann's Heat.
Guy told me one time, don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner. Now, if you're on me and you gotta move when I move, how do you expect to keep a marriage?
Well, that's an interesting point. What are you, a monk?
I have a woman.
What do you tell her?
I tell her I'm a salesman.
So then if you spot me coming around that corner, you're just gonna walk out on this woman? Not say goodbye?
That's the discipline.
That's pretty vacant.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's that or we both better go do something else, pal.
I don't know how to do anything else.
Neither do I.
I don't much want to either.
Neither do I.
Heat is a Michael Mann movie, and he went out to get Pacino and De Niro. That was what he wanted. He wanted Al Pacino and Robert De Niro in a film acting together. The film is about the career criminal De Niro and the cop Pacino who's out after him. And it starts with a heist that sort of goes wrong. De Niro is the kind of criminal who doesn't kill anyone, and he's on a raid and someone dies. And then Al Pacino comes after him. It's not as dark as a full tilt death and crime caper. It's got a lightness of touch, it's lovely to watch the two of them play off against each other, clearly enjoying themselves enormously.
Throughout the rest of the 1990s, Robert De Niro continued to star in hit films, including Barry Levinson's Sleepers, James Mangold's Copland, and Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. Then, at the end of the decade, he played up his association with mobster roles in the Harold Ramis comedy Analyze This.
This is too much for me. I'm having nightmares myself. The other night I dreamed that you and I were walking down the street together, and I stopped to buy some fruit. And then I don't know where two guys come, and they kill me. Like Marlon Brando in The Godfather.
Good scene. What'd I do?
You drop your gun, you run up to me, and you yell, Papa, Papa.
I was Fredo? I don't think so.
From the turn of the millennium, Robert De Niro has remained one of the most prolific actors in Hollywood, starring in a wide range of roles. One of his most critically acclaimed performances in his later career was as Bradley Cooper's father in 2012's Silver Linings Playbook.
Maybe I didn't spend enough time with you growing up. I spent too much time with your brother. It might have made you feel worse about your behavior, but I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to handle it. I mean, that's what all this Eagles stuff is about. It's about us spending time now. I want to do everything I can to help you get back on your feet. That's the whole point. Yeah. And I wish you'd watch these games with me. So we could talk and we could get into things.
He has an extraordinary legacy of films. The method acting process in him is stronger than almost any other living actor.
He was a subtle and powerful actor who subsumed himself into every part he played in the best method style. He was perhaps the most powerful exemplar of that method.
He created performances that will never be matched. Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, just indelible marks in American culture. So just to call him an actor or a star doesn't seem to fit. He's De Niro, you know, and he may have done goofy films, but you cannot ever take away his legacy because it's unmatchable.
He took the idea of method acting And he entirely personified all of its principles all the way through his career, from beginning to end. He went not just the extra mile, he went the extra 300 miles.
Robert De Niro's legacy is one of incredible hard work. He's a hard-working actor. He is totally dedicated to being as good an actor as he can be. He is a supporter of other actors, of other writers, of other projects. We are lucky that we're in the time of Robert De Niro.